Disney has announced a new deal with YouTube. The two have teamed up to create videos for young viewers. Disney is hoping the move will help turn around its struggling interactive unit. Our senior West Coast correspondent Jon Erlichman is out in the newsroom with more details. Jon?
And Emily, this is part of a story of an older media company trying to get its new media strategy right. The backstory on this is a year and a half ago, Disney paid more than $500 million for a company called Playdom, a social gaming company. At the time, Bob Iger, the boss of Disney, said, this is a great move for us. It's really going to help us grow in a new market. The problem was Disney wasn't really that happy with the quality of the games, so they pared back. In other words, they weren't getting the sales, but the costs were still there. It was costly to run that business, and that really ate into profitability. So here Disney is today thinking about how they can get this interactive business making money, and by teaming up with YouTube, it's a small part of that pie. I hope that they can start to make a little bit of money. And for YouTube, which of course is known for all sorts of web videos that have nothing to do with long-form content or with Disney, they're hoping this is going to help with credibility. Now, for more on Disney's deal, we are joined now by Bloomberg West analyst David Bank of RBC Capital Markets. He's in New York. And David, why don't you give us your view on this deal?
Sure. Thanks very much, John. We've been talking about for years how badly I think the online guys want traditional offline content. And for the most part, that content is going to, the premium subscription VOD providers like Netflix or like Amazon right now. I think what YouTube is trying to do here is they're trying to take kind of not quite premium, but quality programming and move it onto an ad-supported basis. And they weren't going to get the best stuff, so they did something really smart, which is they leveraged off the interactive content, which wasn't being used anywhere traditionally, and they're actually getting paid something for it by YouTube. But it's not as if they're taking their existing, real hardcore premium Disney content and moving it to YouTube. They're just taking stuff that I think has never been monetized in video online and moving it to YouTube.
Right, and these are dollars that some people say Disney should have been making a long time ago. Why wasn't Disney more proactive about doing this?
Well, frankly, Disney's entry aggressively into the casual game space is still relatively new. I don't think Club Penguin really lent itself to this kind of content, and the content that they're highlighting is coming out of some recent successes off the Playdom platform. So part of the reason is the content just wasn't there, and the second reason was they were so worried about mapping out a premium content distribution strategy, things that are generating them $100, $200, $300 million a year in contracts, the Netflix deals, the Amazon deals. They really didn't have time to focus on these $10, $15 million ad-supported deals.
So at the end of the day, what do you think Disney should be doing? Should they be taking their content, license it to whomever, or should they be doing deals like the Playdom deal? Or should they be doing both?
Well, look, I think they're there. They've made a decision at this point that the casual gaming is a space that they want to play hard in. They see it as a place where their demo is moving toward, and so they need to be there. And they've made a bet that instead of licensing out the capability, they want to own it. So I think at this point, the street is viewing it as another, probably 24 months before this thing has to really be firing on all cylinders. And that's the runway they have. And if they're not there by then I think they're going to reevaluate what they're doing.
Let's talk more about what this means for YouTube. Is this just a credibility thing for YouTube?
Sure. Well, I look at it this way. When you think about network advertising CPMs, if nothing else, they're spending $5 to $15 million or something for this content. Think about the amount of time that you guys are devoting to it and the rest of the press. It's pretty fantastic free advertising for a platform that hasn't really added very much premium content. So I think that a lot of the hype that's coming out of this is probably more Google-driven, YouTube-driven, to show that we're actually starting to program these channels with some real meaningful content. But at the end of the day, you're talking about $5 to $10 million budgets, maybe $15 million budgets for a channel. The average big channel, network channel, is something like $4 billion of content spend annually. And a big cable channel is between $500 million and $1 billion. So when we compare that to a $5 to $15 million, kind of a drop in the bucket.
All right, David, thanks for your perspectives. As always, a Bloomberg Best, David Bank of RBC Capital Markets in New York.